Hello everyone, welcome back to Chinmoy's Biology channel to a new episode of phenylketonuria. So in the previous episode we have started with the first autosomal recessive disorder, that is sickle cell anemia. Now today's episode we are going to discuss about phenylketonuria, and it is going to be a very interesting episode because we are doing the series of all the diseases. First we have completed color blindness, then we have done hemophilia. These are X-linked recessive disorders. Then we have done this sickle cell anemia, and today is phenylketonuria. So please stay tuned till the end of today's lesson because it's going to be a very interesting one for your 12th NCERT as well as NEET aspirants. So let's get started. Now, first, when we start this episode, one question arises in our mind, that is, what if eating certain foods could damage our brain? So, is it possible that through food, some food what we are eating can damage our brain? So, are there any food of that kind? So, this disease is somewhat related to some kinds of food we are eating. Not only that, there are certain things which are happening inside our body. Okay, so let's get into the details of this phenylketonuria and how can certain foods damage our brain. So let's move on to that. So what is phenylketonuria? Phenylketonuria is also called PKU. It is a rare inherited disorder that causes an amino acid called phenylalanine to build up in the body. So what does it mean to build up in the body? That is, phenylalanine, when it is formed in the body, it breaks down with the help of an enzyme to tyrosine. Okay, so it doesn't stay in the body in the form of phenylalanine. It is converted to tyrosine. But when this disorder is happening in our body, phenylalanine, it continuously stays in our body. Okay, it is forming, we can say that it is staying back in our body due to lack of one enzyme. So the enzyme is called phenylalanine hydroxylase, which helps the conversion of phenylalanine to tyrosine. So this gene helps to create the enzyme needed to break down this phenylalanine. So when there is a mutation of the gene which is helping to create the enzyme to break down phenylalanine, then only phenylketonuria is happening in our body. It is a disease. So without the enzyme necessary to break down phenylalanine, a dangerous buildup is happening in our body, and that is called PKU. So when a person having phenylketonuria eats foods that contain proteins or aspartame, it is an artificial sweetener, so they can eventually cause serious health problems. So phenylalanine, when it is staying in your body, when there is a huge we can say buildup of phenylalanine in your body, when it is not converted to tyrosine, and when the gene producing phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme is absent in your body, then what is happening? Then a toxic condition is happening which is called phenylketonuria. And when a person having this phenylketonuria disease is taking more amount of protein, so more amount of protein means more amount of phenylalanine buildup in your body, and this aspartame also is very much harmful if you are a PKU patient. If you are not a PKU patient, if you are a normal patient, it's fine for you. So what is aspartame? It is actually an artificial non-saccharide sweetener which is commonly used as sugar substitute in foods and beverages. Okay, is it clear till now to you all? So this is how the question what I asked in the beginning only, that foods are related to brain damage. So if too much phenylalanine stays in your body, in your brain, it will lead to several disorders, and we will come to the disorders in the next few slides. And for that you need to continue with my lesson and don't skip in between. So let's continue. Now, babies in United States and many other countries, they are screened for PKU as soon as they are born. So several developed nations and all, they keep on screening after the birth only if the baby is having PKU or not. So although there is no cure of PKU, recognizing PKU, what they'll start treatment right away. They can help prevent the limitations in areas of thinking, understanding and communicating. That is, intellectual disability happens and major health problems will happen. So what it can cause? Phenylketonuria, this disease can gradually cause mental retardation. It can cause seizures. The person who is affected to this disease can have seizures, or we can say that they can have those hypopigmentation in skin. They will have eczema. So another thing it can be done for them, that is increase of tyrosine in their diet, as the phenylalanine was unable to be conformed to tyrosine, as the phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme is absent. So for that they can be fed with more and more tyrosine rich diets. What they are, their body odor is very much bad, and it is an autosomal recessive disorder. Okay, and in urine also you can see phenyl ketones present in their urine as well. So this is for babies, and this is, you can see the adult who is not you can see the picture only, he is not looking as a normal adult. There are so we can feel that this person is mentally retarded. Now more of this we will learn. So what else these people can do to improve their lifestyle? They can only for the rest of their lives, people with PKU, the babies, children, adults, they need to follow a diet that limits phenylalanine, which is found mostly in foods that contain protein. And newer medications may allow some people with PKU to eat a diet that has a higher or an unrestricted amount of phenylalanine. So this is what they can do to lead almost a normal life. They can restrict protein in their diet. They can stop the use of any artificial sweetener if they're having in any beverages and all. So they should restrict that, so that they can improve their lifestyle. And many newer medications have also come to market nowadays. So proper treatments are also there. So what is the inheritance pattern of PKU? So for a child to inherit PKU, both the mother and the father must have to pass on the changed gene. So the gene have either they are having the gene, either they are carrier, or the gene has mutated in their body. So they must have to pass on the gene, both the father and the mother, because the pattern of inheritance is called the autosomal recessive. If one is having this gene and the other is not having this gene, then it will not be passed on to the next generation. So it is an autosomal recessive disorder. So it's possible for a parent to be a carrier, to have the changed gene that causes PKU but not have the disease. If the father is having, suppose this, and he is the carrier but he is not having the disease, and if only one parent has the changed gene, there is no risk of passing PKU to child, but it's possible for the child to be a carrier. So carrier they will have, but they will not be the diseased person, or they will not carry on it as a we can say that as a infected person. They'll not have this, they'll only have as a carrier. So if both the parents are having, then only the kids or the next generation will have the chances of inheriting this as a disease. So most often phenylketonuria is passed to children by two parents who are both carriers of the changed gene, but they don't know. So either the father or the mother, if they are both carriers of phenylketonuria, and might be they are not knowing this, then it might be passed on to the next generation or the children without knowing only. So unknowingly it's passed on from one generation to another. So when their children get affected, then only after they get their blood tested, they'll know that they are also carriers of this PKU disease. Is it clear to all of you now? Now next we'll come to the what are the signs and symptoms of PKU, what are the complications happen in their body, and how it can be prevented to certain extent. So keep on watching this. Let us move on to the next one. See here, both the mother and the father, they are carriers. So both mother and father are carrier of this phenylketonuria. So after this cross, we can see the only one is unaffected, and this one we can see is the sufferer. Okay, and this two we can say these are carrier children. Okay, so one is fully affected because parents both were carriers, and one here two kids they are carriers, and one is unaffected and one is fully affected. So this is how this carries on in generations. Okay. So, what are the signs and symptoms of phenylketonuria? Musty odor in breath, skin, or urine causes too much of phenylalanine in the body. So, nervous system is affected. Neurological problems like seizures will happen. They will have skin rashes or eczema. Their skin tone is lighter, hair, eye color than the family members, because what, phenylalanine can't transform into melanin, the pigment responsible for hair and skin tone. So, these are all the problems they'll have. Usually small head size they'll have, that is called microcephaly. Hyperactivity, these kids will be hyperactive. They'll have intellectual disability. Delayed development also they'll have. Behavioral, emotional and social problems they'll have. And they'll have several mental disorders as well. So these are the main signs and symptoms of untreated phenylketonuria patients. So, how the severity varies in phenylketonuria? So, there is classic phenylketonuria. This is the most severe form of disorder called the classic PKU. The enzyme needed to break down phenylalanine is missing or severely reduced. Okay, so this results in what? This results in high levels of phenylalanine that can cause severe brain damage. So, phenylalanine producing enzyme, that is phenylalanine hydroxylase, is either totally missing or severely reduced. This results in high level of phenylalanine which cause severe brain damage. So less severe forms of PKU, in mild and moderate form, what is happening? The enzyme is still, some function is having, so phenylalanine levels are not so high. So partially phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme is being produced, resulting in a smaller risk of significant brain damage, because some amount of phenylalanine is still now converted to tyrosine. So a small risk is there. So it is a mild or moderate form of PKU are there. Now, regardless of the form, most infants, children, adults with disorders still require special PKU diet. So their diet should be special. If they keep on consuming more protein and more aspartame, it will be leading to other complications. So if they can take a special kind of diet, it will prevent the intellectual disability and other complications as well. Okay, is it clear? So how it is inherited, we have told you. So what are the causes actually? A gene change or genetic mutation, I have told you, causes PKU, which can be mild, moderate or severe. So in a person with PKU, a change in the phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme, or we can say causes a lack or reduced amount of enzyme production that's needed to process phenylalanine and amino acids. So phenylalanine conversion is stopped. So this is what I am telling from the beginning. Just I have written it down for your benefit so that you can learn it properly. Now, a dangerous buildup of phenylalanine can develop when a person with phenylketonuria, it eats protein-rich foods such as milk, cheese, nuts, meats or grains, and such as breads and pasta, which are having this or aspartame as a artificial sweetener. So it's clear to all of you now. Now let us move to other preventions and all. So what are the complications which can arise? So untreated PKU can lead to complication in infants, children and adults with this disorder. When women with PKU have high blood phenylalanine levels during pregnancy, it can harm their unborn baby as well. And untreated PKU can lead to irreversible brain damage, marked intellectual disability within a first few months of life. If kids are having, they will have intellectual disability, they will have an irreversible brain damage, neurological problem like seizures and tremors will be there, behavioral, emotional, social problems in older children and adults will be there, major health problems and developmental problems will be there. So this I have told you earlier as well. So these are the major complications which are going to happen if you are keeping this phenylketonuria untreated. Now, what are the prevention you can take to prevent this? Now, if you have PKU and you are considering to getting pregnant, what you can do? You should follow a low phenylalanine diet. So it can help you to prevent the baby harming your developing baby by sticking to or returning to a low phenylalanine diet before becoming pregnant. Another thing is that nutritional supplements designed for people with PKU can ensure enough protein and nutrition during pregnancy. So as you are restricting your diet from protein, you will be protein deficient. So for that, there is a special type of diet designed for PKU patients. So that can be taken during pregnancy. And if you have to talk to your healthcare provider, and then you can, after planning properly, then only you can start trying to conceive. So these are the steps for a pregnant mother. Now another thing is that you can go for genetic counseling if you have PKU, a close relative with PKU or a child with PKU. You may benefit from a genetic counseling before becoming pregnant again. Now, a specialist in medical genetics or geneticist, he or she will guide you to understand how PKU is passed on in family, and he can assist you to determine your family, how to determine your family planning, assist you in family planning and all before you go for having baby again or becoming pregnant again. So this is all for this autosomal recessive disease, phenylketonuria. I have taught you everything regarding this. I hope you all have understood this lesson in detail. So this topic is very important for you all, and it is the second one in your autosomal recessive trait. So the third one and the last one is thalassemia, which I'll be coming in the next episode. So stay tuned, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and if you're having any doubts, any queries, please do write in my comment box. Thank you. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you soon in the next episode of thalassemia.